Hello everyone, and welcome back to JB's Total Gaming. And here's the deal. I love board gaming, I love video gaming, I love card games. So I really love digital card games. And I recently did a video on the best video games of 2016, but I didn't mention digital card games at all. So I thought I'd do a video about what I think are the 5 best digital card games that are around this year. One is still kind of in early access beta, and that is the one that I don't have video for. The other 4 I actually have videos for. You're more than welcome to check out if any of these look interesting. And I thought it might be good to compile all of these games into one place if you guys want to check it out. So again, this is something that I really enjoy, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this as well. So here they are, the best 5 digital card games of 2016. Alright, so for the rest of these, I'm going to actually be showing footage of my own videos of the different games, but since I don't have video footage of Gwent, I'm actually going to show a little bit of Northern Lions video footage for it. Hopefully he won't mind me doing that, but he's someone I enjoy his Let's Look At or whatever, and I'm basically advertising another YouTuber. But here you go. So Northern Lions is playing Gwent, a game that I played a ton of in The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was my game of the year last year. I love it, and I really enjoyed Gwent, but it did have some issues. Gwent is a card game where basically there are 3 rounds. You draw cards to start the game, and those are the cards you have for the game, although there are cards that can draw you more cards. And you basically need to use those cards in order to win 2 of 3 rounds. Once you win 2, you are the winner. So there is a lot of bluffing, risk, reward, and then there are also these 3 lanes, kind of the attack, the range, and then the siege rows, and it's a really interesting game. It's super simple in the original game, and here it's still pretty simple, but they've balanced the game a little bit, changed the game around a little bit, added some new effects and whatnot. So if you enjoyed Gwent and The Witcher, it is going to eventually going to be a full-fledged game that you can get. And well, if you aren't familiar with Gwent in the Witcher game, again, it's a really simple game where basically you want the highest score at the end of a round and you want to win 2 rounds. But there's a surprising amount of complexity and depth in that gambling. Maybe losing a round on purpose, maybe playing certain cards in order to draw out your enemy's cards and using abilities. All kinds of interesting things going on. So it is a super simple game to get the concept of. Have the highest score at the end of the round, and you choose when you pass. But that ability to, play as much as you want, but then you may lose the later rounds by not having the cards, and all kinds of different synergies. It's a really interesting game, and that's why this game is on my list of the 5 best games of 2016, but I'm not actually ranking it. It's getting kind of an honorable mention because it is not officially out yet. And well, one bad thing I have heard is that so far in the beta access, the pricing structure, it is a free-to-play game, and then you can buy packs and whatnot, isn't necessarily the best, but that may change over time. So because I don't have a lot of experience with the game, we're just going to put this in the honorable mention category. Next up, we're going to talk about Spellweaver. Spellweaver is one of the first video games I actually covered on this channel as far as my video game coverage, and it is the most probably Magic the Gathering-like of the games we want to talk about. While there is mana in this game and you get more mana every turn and whatnot, the levels are the interesting thing in this game. So this card here, it's 2 mana, but I need at least 1 level in the purple faction. There are cards that might have, 1 level in something, and then, like for this one, 1 level in that, and then 1 level in any faction, including that one or any other one. It makes deck building really interesting. Again, like Magic, you can play 2, different factions if you want, but you have to keep that in mind, and you have to find ways in order to get those levels. And while it is the most Magic the Gathering-like, it is a much better implementation than the Magic the Gathering Online, in my opinion, which hasn't been updated in forever in any significant way. And it's a really enjoyable game that actually has some single-player content as well, and I think overall a fairly good structure as far as getting into the game, and it is free to play. You can buy packs and whatnot, but I suggest checking out my video for more information. And this is my number 4 game, card game of 2016. I think it's a really well done game, and it does some original things to Magic, and I think overall, again, is a pretty enjoyable experience. So that is Spellweaver. Alright, in the number 3 game of 2016, I have The Elder Scrolls Legends. The Elder Scrolls Legends is a game I really enjoyed. You can check out my video for it, and I actually did a arena playthrough of it if you want to check it out. This game, like Hearthstone, has an arena, but it also has a solo arena you can play through. So this game has lots of interesting little mechanisms. For example, whenever you basically do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 damage to your opponent, then they will draw a card, and there are certain cards called prophecy cards that allow you to play that card immediately when it's drawn, but prophecy cards tend not to be as powerful as other cards, and that's one of the really interesting mechanisms within the game. There's a lot of little interesting mechanisms in the game, and again, I'm not going to get into super in-depth about the game. You can go check out my video or my playthrough of an arena of this game if you're interested, but I want to talk about the basics of it, and the basics of that I think is a really interesting thing. You can build a deck based around the potential of drawing cards like that, or you can put none of those cards in your deck and never be able to play a card for free, but at the same time have a deck that's maybe a little bit more powerful overall. There are also 2 lanes in the game. In general, the game has one lane do one function where basically the cards are hidden the round that they're played, and the other lane doesn't have that function, but there are specialty games in which what that other lane does has different functions. So between those prophecy cards and then the different lanes and the effects like that, I really enjoy this game. I think it's a fantastic game. Again, it's somewhat similar to Magic the Gathering, but I feel like even offers a little bit more original than what Spellweaver does, and I like the original things that this game offers, and that's why it moves into the number 3 spot of digital card games of 2016. Next up, we have what might be a surprise, Chronicle RuneScape Legends. So this is definitely the most unique game on this list. This game is kind of crazy in how unique it is. Basically, you are going on a quest, and your opponent is going on a quest. And in each one of these scenarios, you're going through certain maps, and you have a certain number of rounds where you get to the end. We are running across different things and whatnot, but you build what you run into on your quest into the deck. You put monsters into your deck for you to fight. You can also put things like equipment and whatnot into your deck, but in order to be able to buy that equipment, you're going to need money that you're probably going to earn from defeating the monsters. So this is a deck where you're building not only your deck as far as what your equipment and things will be, but the creatures that you'll fight. And then they're all going to have all different kinds of effects and abilities, and you can build a deck based on maybe affecting your opponent on the other side, or a deck that ignores your opponent and just tries to make you as powerful as possible. And it is possible that you'll die during this quest, and you won't make it to the end. If that happens, your opponent wins. But if you both make it to the end, you'll fight each other based on the stats you have at the end of that last round. It is totally unique. Definitely check out my video on it. It's really interesting and really fun, and that is why it gets my number 2 card game of 2016. Last but not least, let's talk about my number 1 digital card game of 2016. This should be no surprise because my video for this, I called it maybe the best digital card game or something like that. I love Duelist. It is a really interesting game, and while the RuneScape game I felt like was maybe the most original, Duelist is close. Not only do you play on this grid, which reminds me of like the Mage Wars board game or something like that, you also have these things where you can replace a card every turn, and it is a thing where that's an interesting decision. This game has the most interesting decisions per minute of any game out there. There are different heroes with different factions of cards and neutral cards. Again, it's a free-to-play game that has some single-player content as well that you can go check out, and I feel like it has a pretty fair pricing structure. You can earn a lot of in-game currency pretty easily, and I love this game. I think the grid offers an interesting puzzle. Those bubbles out on the board offer you more mana if you can get yourself or a creature to them before your opponent, the ability to replace a card. There's just a lot going on in this game. There is a decent amount of randomness as well, but this is a game that I feel like helps fix some of the card draw issues of other games, allowing you to replace a card every turn. I feel like the factions are well done. They legitimately play differently from each other, but there are also different strategies within each faction and different heroes within each faction, and overall, I love this game, and this is easily my best card game of 2016, Duelist. Again, check out the video for more information. But there you go. There are, in my opinion, the top digital card games of 2016. I mean, excluding, games that everybody knows about, like Hearthstone and whatnot. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And if you're into card games, whether they be cardboard card games or digital card games, hopefully you will enjoy one of these games. You can check them out for free and see what you like. But there's definitely some stuff more traditional, like the earlier games we talked about, and some more unique stuff, particularly like Runestone, and this one in particular. I really think this game offers you an interesting puzzle every time you play. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will talk to you again soon.